my chat.
Good night, everyone. Have a good night. We're here. Yep. See, good night. We're done. Bye.
Okay, good session. Good session.
You know better.
We're back. We're all here for the first time in a long time. It feels like. But as the usual, we will be playing Adventures in Middle Earth tonight to continue down campaign 2. Don't mind me. I'm looking for a certain track that I always play around here somewhere.
He has to go to his record player, get the vinyl out.
Yeah.
Make sure a mic is hooked up to it.
Yep. The whole gambit.
Wait, I just realized we're here to do something?
Yeah.
Shit.
Get your dice out. So, it's been a janky schedule of ours, but we're here now. So, Lindsay, Kevin, and Matt, go ahead and roll a d20.
Oh, God.
We're giving Nick a pass, because he wasn't here.
Could have done last week's, can't do this week's.
14. 8.
Oh, I would have probably needed that for later.
Well,
I'm
Fig,
just just sit back, relax.
Fig, would you indulge us with a recap of last session?
Because I did it so
2 weeks
well the
ago.
last time I got picked. I remember Cat Cafe with lots of cats. I remember honey cakes, and I remember I remember a bathhouse, and I remember treat yourself.
God, I literally watched far enough to get absolutely nothing Lindsay just said.
No, okay.
Greatly confused.
So the three decided to split up because Cirion wanted to give himself a new look, and Malvhor had a grocery list of things to do.
Okay.
And Fig flipped what did Fig do? Oh, Fig tossed a bone like it was a coin and caught it and went, okay, I'm going with Malvhor because that's what it said. Malvhor got a haircut. Fig declined one. And then Malvhor... What else did you do? You did like one or two other things. Oh, but we did... one priority was to go look for a space to stay. And we were between the Cat Cafe and another place that was like very like pub, tavern with lots of fighting atmosphere and whatnot. But the Cat Cafe provided better rates, and so we went with that instead. Plus, Fig really liked the cats, so you weren't gonna tear her from those. And then most of the stuff,
like a Booking.com ad in there somewhere.
most of the chores were kind of done after that, and so that's when Malvhor decided to do a whole, hey, let's like give ourselves the day and everything. No big. So Malvhor and Fig went to a bathhouse. They had expensive tea, or very high quality tea and biscuits at the Cat Cafe before leaving. Then bathhouse.
What's the name of this Cat Cafe?
I don't remember. It's Cat Cafe for me. Because I was the one last episode who went, yeah, I'll remember all this. I don't need notes. And now guess what?
Here we are.
Meanwhile, Matt and Kevin were like,
remember all of this. Gets called on by the teacher.
And then we were walking back to meet back with Cirion and Locke. Locke was doing his own thing. I don't know what. And
okay, Locke doesn't know what either.
And they also stopped by a bakery where Fig bought honey cakes, where she bought 6, already ate 3 of them, gave 1 to Malvhor, gave 1 to Cirion, and has another one saved for another person. That's all I got.
Who's not Locke? Locke's not getting one.
I'll fill in some gaps there.
Thanks.
You guys left from Goldwynn's house, and she gave you the names of 2 places to check out that could offer long-term lodging. One of them is the Parlor, which is the cat cafe Lindsay has been referring to. And the other one is the pier, which was located in sort of like the dockyard area of the shipwrights ward, or was very crowded, very rowdy, but had music, seemed fun, but the pricing from what you guys have conversed and didn't really bother to haggle too much at the pier is what it was, and you opted for the parlor. Cirion did, yes.
I remember one thing about the parlor.
Okay.
The doors are not locked for cats.
I was gonna get to that, yes.
So Cirion was like, fuck that, and barricaded his door.
That he did. During the day, you guys performed a small task for Goldwynn, a delivery to the stables of 2 saddles, and met an individual there, very young lad, who seemed to be struggling to get a couple of horseshoes on a horse there, and was a little put off by Malvhor's interaction with him. We'll see if anything comes of that later. But went forward, you guys performed... basically had the city to yourself for a day before you decided to go and pursue anything else. Relax, unwind. You had been on the road for almost 10 days, if not a little bit more. Got lodging at the parlor. Did a few other menial tasks that you deemed were necessary. Picked up some new gear, some new armor for some of you. Explored some of the guilds that were in the city. In particular, the Woodworkers Guild. And I think the Hunters Guild as well, who were selling some arms and armor. The 3 of you would recall that in the morning, Locke set out ahead of you guys once you determined that you'd be splitting up to run his own errands, and said that he would meet you back at Goldwynn's, to which you guys never returned.
Joke's on you, Locke!
Oops.
Top pranked!
Fig was really excited about cats.
You got.
Don't worry, Matt. I already got your weapon's name picked out.
But at the parlor, very quiet, sort of lit interior, tea house / inn of sorts. You met the patron there, known as Dorsey, who had many cats just sort of meandering about, meowing, running all around. In conversation, he divulged that there was about 10 of them that called this place home. One of you, the 2 of you, noticed that there was interesting painting on the wall, painting of a woman. When you inquired about the painting to Dorsey, he shrugged it off, saying he doesn't know. He bought it randomly, and that was the extent of it. And that's all 3. You guys have 2 rooms at the parlor, two to a room, but currently only Cirion is in a room by himself. Attempted to barricade the door as best he could, because the doors do have no locking mechanisms. Because otherwise, the cats, according to Dorsey, will cause a ruckus because closed doors.
Valid.
Yes.
Very valid.
So, that is what happened last time. And we are not going to do a pop quiz random trivia question this time, because you all, 3 of you, if I recall correctly, still have your inspirations.
Yeah, not a whole lot of rolls last session.
Yeah, so we're gonna forego it this time, and we're just gonna dive right in. But before we do get started, Locke, for being back, welcome. You may take inspiration if you don't have it already.
Don't, because the last inspiration I got burned pointlessly by someone.
Listen! Wait! Hold up! It was perfectly fine when it was used. I was panicking a lot.
You did your tip. You did the Matt 1 and 2 roll. It wasn't. No.
I didn't roll it though. I just asked for help.
That's fair.
But with that, the morning comes. The 3 of you in the parlor come to at various points in the morning. Locke, you reside back at Goldwynn stables, who once you did return after your round of errands of what you were doing, gathering information and looking for supplies and suitable places to work, essentially, you returned there and just sort of spent the night. And she was happy to have you until the others made themselves known of where they would be staying. So the three of you, morning comes. The day is yours. What would you like to do?
Oh, is it morning? I thought we took a nap. I don't remember.
Happened to be an 8-hour nap in a room by yourself.
Oops. No, I left the door open for cats. I slept on the floor. I remember that much.
Now, wait. We're sharing rooms.
You and Cirion are.
Yes, we're only paying for 2 rooms.
You're right.
Yeah.
I misspoke. Fig is in a room by herself currently.
I pulled
Cirion
all
and
the-
I are cuddling, and I am Little Spoon.
You're
I
damn
pulled-
right.
And there's still somehow a cat.
Right, because I pulled all of the pillows and sheets and blankets off of the bed and made a little pile on the floor and like curled up into it and took a nap.
I mean, you guys at that point in time, sure, a nap, but eventually the day ended and we're coming into the next day in the week.
Oh, okay.
That doesn't happen. Time's not linear.
So it is now the next day, we'll say. So, what would you guys like to do?
We should probably go find Locke.
Probably.
Make sure he's alive.
Can I ask a dumb question? Is there music playing?
Yes.
Okay.
SpaghettiOs.
Is no one else hearing it, or is it just Lindsay?
I don't hear it.
I don't hear it either.
I didn't hear anything after the intro song.
Yeah, I thought there was just no music for the intro.
Nope.
Oops.
That's what I was saying. I was
Refresh.
looking for a track.
Please click here to join.
I'll refresh.
We have a plethora of technical difficulties tonight already. But while we're doing that,
Okay, I'm back in.
Betas, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep. So while we're doing
Yes.
that and getting that situated, yes, the morning is here. You have Locke back at Goldwynn's, and you are each in your rooms. Some with a cat, maybe. Some maybe without some because they couldn't get in. So there's just cats outside of the room that's currently barricaded, meowing to the heavens.
Oh, Cirion, we're gonna get in trouble.
Anytime there's a cat meowing at their door, I'll like wake up and go psst, and like have the cat come to me instead.
Well, we have to tear down the barricade anyway because we gotta leave Cirion. So
I'm going with you. Jeez, banned is Cirion. Rude.
I am very confused. Let's get you some tea, breakfast, or something. And we should go find Locke as well.
Yeah.
So laboriously, Malvhor, the old man, will clear the barricade blocking the door.
Lift with the knees.
Is everybody
Like
still
tearing
not
down
here?
a fort a child made.
Is everybody still not hear music?
Mm-mm.
No.
Nope.
All right, keep going.
At least it worked for the starting soon.
Yeah, that's real great. That's real great. I want it to work and be done.
I'm nuking cookies like I haven't done in a minute.
Yeah, I'm refreshing. Carry on.
Fig, you awake?
You'll hear from her room. Yes. And then you hear like soft little what's it called? Like almost sweet nothings.
Ah, I hear it.
What is
Yeah,
it?
that.
Huzzah! All right.
And if you go into her room, you'll see like 2 or 3 of the cats that she's just got like all on her lap.
I'm expecting. Has anyone seen Big Bang Theory where Sheldon got all the cats? That's literally what I'm picturing right now with Fig.
Yeah, it's probably got 3
Probably
big
accurate.
cats in there. 2 Maine Coons and a calico.
She's getting
Damn.
fur all over herself. Oh,
Oh my god.
What are the cats?
fell.
What are the cats? Fig,
Those cat. I'm
what did you do
sorry.
to that cat,
I'm
Fig?
sorry, my mic fell out of nowhere. That was so weird.
The cat named
she'll-
Mike fell out a window.
She'll ask if it's time to go while I make sure my mic's okay. What the fuck?
Yes, I do think we should. I think if we wait too long to get to Goldwynn's, Locke
Yep.
will be snarkier than usual.
Yep, and I will follow if you leave. Oh god.
Yes,
I'm
let
gonna
us
mute
let
myself.
us leave and get have a moment of silence for the cat named Mike. And so,
Mike, our fallen brother.
and so,
He lives bravely.
Added to the notes. Rip Mike, the cat that fell.
Rip Mike.
so we enter
That's a
the
weird-looking tech cat behind you, Lindsay.
bustling street.
Bustling street where we got Mike in a shoebox and we're gonna go bury him somewhere.
I mean, if he fell out a window, like, to be honest,
He probably landed on all fours and he's fine.
cats can fall a good distance because they're small and they land on their feet mostly. So I mean,
Unless they're fat or stupid like half of our cats.
Mike's probably fine. Maybe just a little banged up. As long as he doesn't get hit by a cart in the street. Malvor's fun science corner. If you drop a mouse from the Empire State Building, it will not die. A squirrel will die of hunger before it dies from falling.
I loved the rip the cat named Mike. I'm like, my mic going like, oh. I am
All
so
right,
sorry, everyone.
Can we progress?
No.
Dude, we already buried
I
the
haven't
cat. We're
progressed in
moving around
6
this.
weeks.
Yeah,
We're
we-
starting now.
We had a little funeral for Mike the cat who fell out Fig's window.
I was hearing it the whole time while I'm like, oh my god.
I like to imagine Fig was just like walking around petting the cat named Mike and just like stumbled and just out the window.
No.
Wait, can I take a cat out with me, or does it have to stay in the parlor?
It has no Fig, no taking cats. They stay in the parlor.
Oh, okay. And I put cat
I'm
down.
not even gonna ask Dulcie because I know what his answer is gonna be.
I was gonna say, I'm like, ask the owner.
No.
If
You
I was the
like-
proprietor, I would not let some random, funky-looking group of people take my cats.
You like watch Fig carry the cat all the way to the doorstep or the door frame, turn around and just
No.
go down, and then she'll be, and then she'll walk out.
Okay.
Okay, on to Locke.
Jesus. Okay.
Well, after that mini side quest.
27 minutes in. Holy hell. Alright, so the 3 of you head out from the parlor and head back through the western gate of Pelargir and out in sort of like the farmlands and pastures just outside the walls, heading down towards the familiar thatched roof cottage with the large fenced pasture of Goldwynn's.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go knock on the door. I'm not rude. I'm not gonna kick it open.
You know what? Just because of that, I will.
I gotta wait
I'm
and
kidding.
see what you guys do with the situation.
I'll just Kool-Aid man through the wall.
Yeah, you knock and a moment passes rather quickly, and then the door swings open, and you're initially greeted greeted is probably a strong word, but you are met at the door by Laura, who seems to have a quiver on her back and a bow strung across like her shoulder. Ah, you're here. You're looking for the elf friend?
Yeah.
Well, he's out in the back now. If you don't mind, I have to get past you. I got a job to do this morning.
You're
Just
gonna
sort
go.
of goes.
You're gonna
weaves
go
in
shoot
between all
something?
of your legs. Going to shoot multiple things, and if you're not careful, it might be you.
Don't tempt me with a good.
She stops and turns around.
What's
What's wrong with you?
No, it's a morning. I haven't had my tea yet. I'm sorry. It just sort of. I usually have a better filter than that. My apologies.
Hey,
Oh.
the elf was right. Holy hell. Walks down the path. You see her walk down the path and along sort of parallel with the fence line, and she stops and gestures. And you see a smaller individual from where you are run up to the fence and sort of hop over it, hop down alongside her, and they both walk off together.
Is that the child?
This
I
is
wish to
Mandalorian
see
now.
the baby. Now let's go around back and find Locke.
I want to take a few seconds to like look at the child and get like any, I don't know, vibes, insight, whatever.
Child's too far away. Can't make out any
Really?
details. I'm the DM now. I'm the DM now.
Go ahead and give me a perception check.
Cause
Roll low. Roll low. Roll low.
You said perception?
Yes.
It's not dark.
That'd be nice.
Okay.
Fuck! Fuck! Fuck!
Natural 20.
Guys! I got 2 nat 20s!
I don't know why I lost it on that.
All of my rolls are now gonna be horrible.
Shit.
your first two
Time
rolls
to confirm
tonight,
that
both
Malvhor is a
natural
bad
20.
father.
I'm out of mead. Crap.
I'm still working on my red Martian.
Oh shit, he's here!
Time.
He's whispering. What's Fig doing? Sort of just.
Is the implication here that none of us have enough alcohol for this? Because I'll be right back if that's the case.
She's just sort of staring.
Oh,
Look.
it's a whisper. I got it.
Well, I'll turn to Cirion. I'll be like, I mean, Fig, we'll just go around and get Locke really quick. Fig can catch up. She's just, sort of staring out in space right now. Can't really.
Yeah. I mean, just let her do her thing, I guess.
Let's just walk out of earshot of Fig real quick, Cirion.
No, we'll walk out of earshot.
What do you think of children?
What?
What do you
Okay,
think of children? Do you have any thoughts?
Oh.
They're small, they're loud.
one's
Excellent,
yours.
excellent observation, Cirion.
Where are you going with this, old man?
I was just curious if you, what your opinions were, and if you ever have thought about settling down.
Maybe eventually.
After all of that, you'll hear like kind of like a, oh, I don't know how to describe it, but you'll see a smirk on Fig's face, and she'll just kind of do like a small chuckle, and then turn her attention back to you guys.
We walked a little bit of ways. You gotta catch up.
I'm catching up. Fine.
She was walking with you.
I was role playing that she was just standing there staring in space really hard, just focusing on that.
Hey, you can't RL lag, Matt. It doesn't work that way.
Oh, but Go ahead.
Fig took a quick glance down the road, and then you guys probably got 2 steps ahead of her, and then she turned back and continued with you.
We
Yeah,
said a
that's
lot
fine.
in those 2 steps.
Locke's here with us now, right?
No, we gotta
You
go
guys are
around.
going.
Oh,
You're
okay,
going
okay.
to the back where the barn area is, and as you sort of cut through the
Okay.
house and come out the back, you see about 3 or 4 horses sort of roaming, and you do see on top of one of them Goldwynn holding some reins, but riding bareback on this sort of like chocolate brown horse with a black mane. She looks over and notices the 3 of you and sort of gestures in her direction.
Oh yeah.
Well, good morning.
Ah, good morning. How do you find
Are
yourself?
I find myself atop of a horse, Malvhor. Thank you for asking.
Yeah.
How did the
He
city
noticed
treat you
how he's
yesterday?
changed.
Oh, it treated me really well, and I gestured to my freshly shorn face.
Oh, you look 10 years younger.
That's exactly what the barber said.
Well, they really have an eye about those things, I hear.
There's something 10 years. Anyway, but yes, your advice also panned out very well. We talked to Dorsey at the parlor, and we have arrangements set up there.
You're staying at the parlor.
Would you rather we stayed at the pier?
I don't much rightfully care where you stay, honestly, but I wouldn't have pegged a group of your... Well,
There are
To be fair,
cats.
I
you're
think
not,
I think I
you're not
made the
typically the
decision.
clientele, I understand.
I think I made the decision, to be fair.
Yeah, well, as long as it gives you a place to rest and, you know, lay low, perhaps.
And no one's gonna punch my face at the parlor, as far as I know.
Yeah,
Oh, worry
fine.
not, old one. That will come soon enough.
Hey, Locke!
I was gonna say Cirion just kind of stands there with a smirk. Mm-hmm.
We missed you yesterday, Locke. How'd your adventures go?
Yes, you missed me. So recall,
Yes,
you know, typically we follow plans when we make them and follow through, and don't decide without the full group.
You must.
And yet I slept in a barn while you slept in a bed.
I did not. I slept with cats.
That's normal for you.
Oh,
It's neither here nor the
you
point.
You must forgive me, Locke. My memory. I'm old. My memory's fleeting. I forgot what we agreed to.
Yeah, you seem to forget a lot of things roughly around 10 years, don't you?
Poor Locke here came meandering in late last night, expecting the 3 of you, and of course, neither of you showed up. So I had to accommodate for him again, but he is a joy to have around here, I'll tell you that.
He is a joy.
I'm-
And
It's been
you.
my pleasure. Anything else you'd like to know about the Wild Run? No.
I'm going to reach into my pouch and I'm gonna take out like a little round thing that's kind of carefully wrapped. I'm going to unwrap it and it's a honey cake and I'm gonna give it to Locke. And and I'll just go, I'm sorry, but I got you a honey cake. Hopefully I can't even stay character.
I appreciate it. I don't blame you at all. It's probably Grandpa's here. He has a problem.
It was a
Remind me,
busy day.
Goldwyn, if this is what he looks like 10 years younger, what did you see back then?
Less gray, honestly.
Yeah.
You know, I heard it's a condition, early graying. I think I wear it well.
No, it's a condition early grave, and you came one step closer to it with abandoning me last night. Remember that.
Well, but I have things to attend to, specifically these 5 here, so if you have need of me, please just let me know, and I hope the city treats you well. And she
Thank you.
sort of does a kiss sound to the horses and gently nudges the one in the rib cage and says, "Come along, Duster. The rest of you, whistles and they just sort of meander along with her.
I'm writing notes. Hang on.
Okay.
Duster? The name of a horse.
You've met 4 horses.
And I'm writing all of their names down because it's gonna be a pop quiz question. So, what's the plan? Lay low, take
So
it
we
easy.
are doing plans again now.
Listen, Locke. If you are wounded by us not returning last night, I offer you my sincerest apologies. And it was a mistake. I can't fix it, but I can promise to be better. I would offer you to I would offer you a drink or offer you to buy you something as respite for the harm I have caused you, but I'm broke, so
Just remember next time, at least one of you should have come and collected me. Since you'd like to be the de facto face of the group for us, you have to deal with the responsibility that comes with that and being the sole source of blame.
yeah, but we all know I'm the looks and not the brains.
I wouldn't give you that either. Certainly not the brains. Highly doubt you're the looks. I believe that goes to our young one over here.
Who'd you point at?
Kevin reacted accordingly,
Yeah.
knowing exactly I was talking about him.
For how our videos are arranged, you pointed at me, and I'm like, what?
Oh, sorry.
I was like, no, I'm not.
I mean, between you and Malvhor, still the case.
I mean, Fig
Scars
was a
and all.
compliment, but
Fig's the looks when she goes all grudge.
You have a terrifying looks.
The ring.
Yes,
Yes.
Fig does have that down quite well.
almost too well. Anyways,
'Twas a stormy night, and the guards cowered in their boots as they heard a noise, and then the lightning illuminated a dark figure, blood across her face, hair streaked down with rain as she just growled a low growl of death.
my scars showing.
Yes, your scout was showing as well. I'm working on it. It's a work in progress.
It's a work.
Can't with y'all tonight.
she will like that story too, and I'm gonna point back to the direction where Laura and the kid left.
Yeah, she seems to be really into those adventure stories with danger and excitement.
Yes, like
He likes the embarrassing ones too, don't worry.
someone else I know.
Okay, with everyone being cryptic and not saying names, can we move on with the plan?
And we don't have a plan.
What's the
What are
plan?
we doing? We have
That's what I
no
want to figure out.
we have no
are we doing?
prospects here.
What are we doing here, friends?
Well, the plan is to lay low, right? Lay low, see if we can earn some coin while we're here. Maybe start to make a name for ourselves in the city before anyone tries to come looking for us. And hopefully, Lord Rattle, Mr. Rattle will reach out to us and have some leads for us to follow about what's going on in Osgiliath and with the cultists we've stumbled across. So we can try to find if there's any work in the city, or we can just take it slow.
Are we already aware of what's around the city? Like guilds and other hubs and whatnot?
I mean, that was essentially the free reign you had of the city last
Okay.
session
That's
or
what I
yesterday.
wasn't quite sure
So
about.
you know at a very high level what's in the city and what's available in the sorts. Anything of specifics, you can dive it down into that if you wish.
Okay.
I'm sure some of the guilds probably have some work. I don't know if they hire outside contractors that often, but what's the worst they're gonna say? No.
I would.
We can also just take it easy, but we do need more money to pay for our rooms at the parlor.
Yes, and I feel questions have to be answered also.
Like what sort of questions?
I want to find more about the music and voice.
Perhaps there's a
Maybe
library
some-
or a collection of books, a scholar you can seek out in the city.
Yes.
What about you, Cirion? You got anything weighing on your mind, something you'd like to do?
Well, now that we said it, I want to find out more information about Rador.
Oh.
Perhaps a similar scholar will be able to help you.
Well, I would like to head to the hall potentially and learn what I can. Maybe there's stuff written about him. Maybe stuff that people don't say. Just ask around, see if anybody knows anything more about him, because I don't know. Something just doesn't feel right in my gut.
That sounds like a great idea, Cirion. How
So
about?
I figured while we're here, get a chance.
Yeah, of course. And what about you, Locke? What do you think our next course of
Sorry,
action should
got
be?
it. Caught it immediately. Well, honestly, at this point, I believe I want to look more into the blade that I recovered from the warehouse. Pull out the infinitely less rusty looking after constantly cleaning it and stuff in between everything else. There's more to this than meets the eye, and I'm determined to find out what it is.
I believe that is a very wise course of action. Would be intrigued to know what secrets it holds. I don't have anything specific planned. So, and Malvhor just sort of spaces out as he just gets lost in thought.
Not anything with Goldwynn or the child.
What? What child? That's
I'm just gonna cross my arms and silently give you a knowing smirk.
It's listen. It's been 10 years, right? I can't just show up and expect Goldwynn to welcome me back with open arms. We're different people than when we left. I have to, I would have to get to know her again. And, perhaps that's in the cards. But honestly, honestly, I don't want to talk about it too much right now. I feel like I feel like a lot of information has been aired out that I wasn't prepared for, and to be frank, it's a bit draining to think about and talk about.
Understand. I'm sorry for prying. New changes, new family, new parents. It happens and can be a lot. I've gone through a few of that myself.
Well, perhaps someday we can talk to each other and share our stories a bit more in depth.
Of change.
Indeed. This sounds like you have some stories regarding your family. I'm not going to press you for them, but good to it is good to get to know one another, all of us.
Yes,
I've been traveling. I've been working with the kid for a while, so I do know a little bit more about him.
I don't have much to hide, so that's fine by me. Change is the only constant in life, so it helps to talk about it.
That's interesting. That's a train of thought I'm going to have to go down when I have a pint in front of me. But that still doesn't answer our question what we're doing today. Are we going our separate ways for a bit? Meet back up? After we've all...
Where?
I mean, we have rooms at the parlor.
How
We
many
have
rooms?
We have 2 rooms.
Right.
Cirion and I share a room, and we were planning on Locke and Vig sharing a room.
I can put the bed back together.
As long as you have no objections with that, I would hate to impose upon you.
No, the floor is fine.
You know, out of context.
It sounded horrible. Once I said
Yes.
that, I went, damn it.
Okay, Lindsay, Locke likes Vig well enough. Clearly, there's boundaries that need drawn based on that sentence.
She meant sleeping on the floor by herself, and you can take the bed. I don't know what anything else is.
You knew exactly what you said based on your own reaction to it.
Yes, too bad that reaction was the realization was after I said it.
It's okay. That's exactly how Vig would have been about it anyways in the first place.
I was gonna say you don't know figs. Never mind.
I don't want to know. Thank you.
Anyways.
Slowly up in the rating of the stream.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can swing by the parlor really quick just so Locke knows where it is. We can introduce Locke to Dulcie, but then we can go about all the tasks that we all have in mind.
Okay.
So we immediately make the same walk back to the parlor.
Yep. You head out. You bid Goldwynn farewell for the night, for now, and head back through the gates into the western garth of Pelargir, and go down sort of like an off-road, a couple of back alleys, and you do end up at a Locke, from your perspective, a nice sort of 2-story building that has a cast iron sign atop the door that looks to be like a teacup, and on top of like the rod that actually holds it is the silhouette of a cat with its tail hanging and swooping under.
Cats.
Yes, there are many cats here. You're not allergic, are you?
I've gone this far not being allergic to your presence. I should be fine with some animals.
Okay,
Yes.
Onwards.
Yep, you guys go inside and get the crisscrossing of cats as they are running about, as it appears to be a certain feeding time for them, as they're getting swarming down the stairs, and you can see about like 6 of them all coming down at once and jutting off into a side hallway. You take Locke upstairs to the 2 rooms that you guys have, just to give them the lay of the land. This is where you guys are currently staying.
I start making the bed once we get close enough. But I take one pillow and throw it on the floor.
You guys are currently paid for the week, so you're good.
Yes, just
That
to.
was going to be my next question. Is how are we planning on paying on this?
Luckily,
for
it's
this.
not. Luckily, it's not terribly expensive. It's It's 2 silver, per week, for both rooms.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
No, and we but like I said, I'm broke. I don't have 2 silver. So, like, we do need to also think about making money while we're here. Doesn't have to be a lot.
I think we were given a proposition a second ago. Full sleeping arrangements and everything.
I have the dial-up modem sound going through my head right now because
Bad joke.
what
Yeah,
oh bad joke.
That one didn't land. Sorry, Kevin. Even with me,
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah,
huh?
it happens.
Back to the drawing board.
So like I was saying, yeah, exactly, Cirion. Like I was saying earlier, you know, the guilds might have job offers for us if they work with third-party contractors and all. I know sometimes guilds can be a little stuffy about, you know, hiring third-party contractors. Nobody likes to work with them. They never get the job on time or on budget.
Seem to have a lot of experience with this.
I mean, I was a mercenary for a large portion of my life, which is just the epitome of third-party contractor.
No. I mean, not delivering on time.
Locke, that was good. That was a good one, Locke. I really appreciate that one.
We missed Nick for 2 weeks, and he's just got everything.
He's ready. It's just been charging up. It's just been charging up.
Enough to go Super Saiyan.
All right. So it sounds like the 4 of you have various tasks you wish to undertake. So you're all going to be, probably for the most part, some of you might stick together, but you're going to be heading off into your fellowship phase, where you each have your own undertaking to basically spend your free time to either better yourself, obtain something, or gain knowledge, or just rest and recover. So you have the city of Pelargir at your disposal currently. And this is, for anyone who doesn't know, you people out there, this is a time for the players to drive their own narrative. So I'm going to take a back seat and let them sort of converse and narrate what their character is doing during their fellowship phase for the day, essentially. I'll, ask them to make rolls and, do appropriate RP where it needs to happen. But for the most part, this is their moment to shine. So, do you have any volunteers on who want to go first?
I would like to not go first because I want to see how this plays out, having not been in one of these games before.
I'll go first.
All right, Malvhor.
At least he's honest.
Okay.
That's fair, too.
So for my fellowship phase,
You've all been down this a few times. I haven't yet.
I'm going to... It's also a little bit different because we're not playing with shadow points, like traditionally.
Yeah.
And one of the things you can do is recover shadow, which I did a lot as Vidar. But I am...
Nathan just, pretty much that was his therapy.
I forget the exact wording for it, but I'm unlocking a patron, more or less, here for us in Pelargir. And, of course, that patron is Goldwynn. And how I'm going to go about doing that is it's essentially just, I'm just going to spend time with Goldwynn. I'm going to help her out with her tasks. Going to try to get to know her again.
Okay.
Try to court her again. But this whole fellowship phase of mine starts with me delivering the flowers I bought.
That's right, I knew you bought flowers. I was trying to remember during the recap.
I'm just playing that song in my head from The Lion King. Can you
You
feel
feel the love? No.
We'll also say, as part of your checklist of arriving there, you have a carved horse to
Yes.
pick up from the one of the guilds.
I did order
So
that.
you
I
can-
did, and I don't remember. I didn't remember exactly when it was ready for pickup. So
It was gonna be ready like the next morning.
yeah. So I also
So-
that's also part of the gift. It's it goes with the
Right.
flowers.
All right, so we'll say you head over to the East Garth and pick up your little miniature wood carved horse, probably about that big in size. It's a sort of lightish brown color. It's not the best work you've seen. It seems like it was a rushed job, but it is clearly a horse. It's not fully smoothed out. Some of the edges are still rough, but there was a layer of stain and polish applied to it to make it give it a little bit of a sheen. But you get that, and you grab your flowers, and you probably take some water, slick back your hair, tuck your shirt in, look all prim and proper, get a little bow tie out, and
If I still had my bow tie, I didn't get it back when the guards arrested me.
It reminded me of Fairly Odd Parenthood. This is where I would have my bow tie. If I had.
If I had one. I still don't have another
he's-
musical instrument either.
he slicks back his hair, and as soon as he lets go, one little string goes boing back up.
Oh, Lordy.
You head out back towards Goldwynn's homestead, and around the time you arrive, she seems to be taking a break from working with the horses. Most of them are back in the barn area eating their meals, essentially, and she's out on the front porch. What it would be a porch. There's like a little bench sort of next to the front door, where she seems to be sipping some tea. Oh, back so soon.
Of course, I can't seem to keep myself away from you.
Well, you managed to do it for 10 years.
But yeah, seeing your face again though, and I can't seem to pull myself away for long. But while we were about the city yesterday, I noticed that I picked a couple things up for you. I remembered your favorite flower, and I produce the bouquet of flowers.
Oh, those are lovely. She takes them, leans into them, gives them a little sniff. Very fresh. Well, thank you. This will go nicely on the dining table inside.
I'm glad you love them, and I wanted to give them to you when you weren't working.
Well, you have impeccable timing, that's for sure.
I am pretty lucky.
Well, that's perspective.
But then I also I had this commission for you as well, and I withdraw the horse statuette.
Oh my, would you look at that? You had this commissioned in town.
I did at the Woodworkers Guild. Honestly, I don't know what breed or even if that is a real breed, but I think it looks nice. They did a good job. I like the stain.
It is well done. Yes. We'll put this up on the mantle. What is that? Did you come all this way purely for pleasantries?
I mean, being with you is always pleasant, Goldwynn.
Well, go ahead and give me a charisma check at advantage.
Okay.
I might need a box of tissues. I might cry.
24.
Okay. Well, while you're here, would you like to have some tea?
Of course. Of course.
Still have the kettle on the burner. Come inside. She leads you inside. She places the gifts off to the onto the table, grabs a small cup and pours the tea in, comes over and places it down in front of you, and she sits down as well. Listen. You showing up here the other night, especially with your companions in tow, was a bit off-putting and a little surprising. I hope you realize this.
Oh no, I completely understand. Honestly, I realized that coming into it. I warned them that it would be a surprise. But I trust you. That's why I came here in my deepest time of need.
Well, I'm flattered that in the situation that you found yourself in, I was the first person you thought of to come to. I'm no fighter, so I'm not much one ready to defend you, but I can help in any way I can.
We don't need a fighter. We got Fig. She's strong enough for all of us.
She's terrifying.
I know. You weren't there the night we were escaping from the prison. It was a rainy night, and she just stalked out of the shadows, and her hair was all slicked down, covering her face. Her scar was showing, and there was light. I couldn't write a scarier entrance if I tried.
Oh, by the Valar, no, thank you. I'm glad she's friendly, but she rounded that corner that night when you arrived. My heart nearly jumped out of my chest.
Oh, she is very terrifying. But
Oops.
but only, I mean, it's
Sorry, not sorry for 500.
but she is kind.
She is, and from what I can tell, she'll be worth keeping around for you.
Well,
Curious. She's very, very curious individual.
Yeah,
But-
you she says she comes from the north, but beyond that, I don't know why. I don't know how far or strictly where. It's interesting.
She alluded to being familiar with my dialect, with the Aophid. She might not have known who they were, but she might have come across them or spoken with them. She might be one herself and just doesn't know it.
Well, what's the rest of the day look like for Ms. Goldwynn?
Well, I will have to go in town briefly to check on Radcliffe to make sure he is doing what he needs to have done, and that we are running on schedule for the rentals, and I think we might even have a purchase today that I might need to jump in on. But beyond that, it will be tending to the pasture out here and making sure they're trained and ready to go when it's time for them to fill in at the stables, or if the guard or one of the guilds has need of them. You're welcome to tag along if you wish, and
Oh, of course. I would love that. And I told Radcliffe I'd be seeing him again, and I hope I didn't scare him too much, but
stop it. What did you do?
I just put on a little face and I said I'll be seeing you again. And
Why would you do that to the young lad? He's
just put some ants in his pants. It's fine. He's done nothing wrong.
he is a good
lad.
good kid.
He's a wonderful lad. He's a great kid, and I'll make it clear.
Nervous at times.
I'll make it clear that it was a prank.
He is a bit nervous at times, but he's a good worker, and he's learned quite a lot since working in the stables. Maybe one day he'll be able to come out here and start training them as well. If Laura doesn't decide to do it herself.
Now, to be honest, I haven't known Laura very long, but I get the feeling from her that she almost seems like an adventurer.
She likes to think she is, that's for sure. We met several years ago, while you were gone, obviously, and I mistook her as a child at first myself.
I did the
but we
same thing.
It was the spunk in the sass that really threw me, but we got to know each other, and she is a joy to be around, and she is loyal to the grave. Once you get to know her and once you befriend her, but she has a heart for adventure. But currently, she resigns herself to foraging and hunting small game.
Well, she seems a wonderful friend to you.
Yes, well,
Now,
I'm sure you'll be seeing a lot more of her the more you're in Pelargir.
We're going to be here for a while, I imagine. But now I have the most important question for you. Which one of those horses is your favorite?
Oh, that is a hard question. Duster's young. He's just getting the reins, but he is a sweetheart. Rain, back in the stables, he has an attitude, but once you get in a full gallop, he is terribly fun and exciting to ride. But I think the rogue among all of them is my favorite. Bit of an attitude behind him. Not the fastest, but he can kick. He'll be the first into a fight if he ever is one, and that's quick fire.
You will have to point him out to me next time we can see him.
I certainly will. He's currently on loan to one of the guards. I think a ranger. But, and when he's back in stable, I'll definitely point him out.
It's good just to sit here and talk to you again, Goldwynn.
Well, let's head into the stables, check on Radcliffe, and then we can come back out here and we can return to the herd and make sure that they are going through the steps they need to.
Yeah, I'll have to learn how to work with my hands again. It's been a while since I've done, I guess I did some as a mercenary and as a soldier, but I miss my instrument.
Well, you'll have to get a new one, but in the meantime, what the Gondorian army taught you was the sheer basics. What you're going to have to learn is the way of the Aothid.
Well, I'm gonna have the best teacher around.
She puts her teacup down and sort of like leans over the table at you. And don't you forget it. Come. She gathers up the stuff, puts the flowers into like a small vase on the table, and places the horse sculpture on a mantle. And the two of you head out, going to pretty much spending the day together, heading into the stables. What?
I'm just dap.
God damn it.
I was fucking dying on the inside. I'm sorry. I held it back so much. Just as he said it and the way he said it, I'm just like, oh my god.
Oh boy. You go into town and you basically look over the stables. You make sure Radcliffe has everything he needs. Interact with him.
Hey, Radcliffe, I told you I'd be back.
Yeah, you said you would. Hi. Lady Goldwynn, as he does a small bow. What brings you in? Just routine checks? Yes, routine, and there's a couple of rentals coming in today, Radcliffe. Are you prepared for that? Yes, I am, ma'am. We have, as he pulls out a crumpled up piece of parchment from his leather apron, we have Sully and Stormlight out for rental today. They'll be coming up soon. Very good. Make sure they have their saddles and that their shoes are clean and ready to go. If there's anything you need of me, I will be inside. I have to sign some paperwork for the sale of who is it again? Zenith. Oh, right, Zenith. Yeah, he is being sold today. I'll be here. Just let me know if you need anything. Very good. And don't mind him. He's just messing with you.
I'm just gonna give Radcliffe a thumbs up and just say, keep up the good work, kid.
I will. Thank you. Spend the better part of a few hours there, and eventually you head back towards the homestead after the guard swings by and takes Zenith off of Goldwynn's hands, and she takes several minutes holding the reins of Zenith and just petting the face, whispering into his ear, and eventually hands the reins over and just watches the horse go away. But you guys eventually...
Is it difficult?
Go ahead.
Is it difficult to sell one of your horses?
Not difficult to sell, it's difficult to just watch them go. The whole reason my people breed horses is for their use. It's only difficult because we form bonds with them all. It's like sending a child off, I imagine.
Yeah, but with that must come a great sense of pride as well.
There is. To my knowledge, the previous stable master was shoddy for his work. The city couldn't wait to replace them.
Well, you outshine all stable masters.
Well, you should definitely swing by where the rest of my people are settled, just north of the White Mountains. You think I'm good? Oh, that's going to be a whole land of horse lords in some day, let me tell you.
That might be a fun adventure, you and I, traveling back that way someday?
Maybe someday. I really don't have any desire to go back there just yet.
We still got many years ahead of us. There's always the future.
Allah willing.
But, you have a busy day, so let's, get on with your next task.
Trek on as you guys return to the homestead, and she lines up the horses and begins running sort of various training drills of listening to commands and getting used to saddles and reins, and some of them are a little rebellious at first that try to buck off, but she holds steady and sort of attempts to break them. Some don't get there quite yet, and she confides that this is a long process and with bond forming, and she lets you have a hand at it a couple of times, and you're thrown pretty much every time.
And I laugh every time.
It results in a hearty laugh from her as well, but she runs you through the whole gambit of cleaning shoes, getting the saddle blankets, making sure they have reins, what sort of food they need, rest, identifying certain things. It's a real crash course that you sort of like absorb maybe like a fourth of it, but it is a start. And by the time the day ends and your sort of what time you spent with her today comes to a close, you feel a bond beginning to reform between the two of you. And with that, you can check your journal under handouts.
Patrons! Okay. Goldwynn, the stable master of Pelargir, has become a patron of the Fellowship. She is now a large influence within the city and even less outside the region of Lebanon. But she does have ways to aid the Fellowship. While within the region of Lebanon, the Fellowship gains the following benefit. Advantage on traditions checks when beginning an audience phase. In addition to this, members of the Fellowship can choose to study under Goldwynn and learn to tame and ride horses. This is an endeavor that will take time and patience, but the reward can be great if the individual is determined. When the Fellowship first gains Goldwynn as a patron, they can add the following skill check. Riding, which is equal to 1d20 plus proficiency bonus, and then plus strength or wisdom. This skill can develop over time and potentially use different ability modifiers. This may depend on the bond made with the horse and how much training they've obtained from Goldwynn. Finally, members of the Fellowship are considered proficient in animal handling when interacting with horses. Radical.
So there you go. The Fellowship has earned their first patron.
Patron boost. Yeah, and the rest of my Fellowship phase is going to be a lot of the same, right? Helping Goldwynn out, going on dates, getting small gifts. You know, all the usual aspects of courtship.
Right.
And how long is this Fellowship phase?
Just the day.
Oh, just a day?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Then never mind.
Yep. Just the one day.
Then it just happens. Then it's just the one day. Never mind. Ignore everything I said.
Okay. You will note by the time the day ends and you probably start heading back into the city. You never saw Laura return.
Uh-oh.
Lindsay! Oh no.
Play her down. Play her down.
Quick, scramble the feed.
Oh my god.
What happened?
My computer fan went super high for like the past 5-10 minutes. My taskbar is frozen and everything is freezing up.
Okay.
Try
I was
turning it
gonna,
off and back on again.
well, I was gonna wait to do that for break, so.
Well,
I don't know if that was a genuine, like, helpful suggestion or Nick just being a smartass.
Yes.
I don't know
It's
anymore.
both.
It's legitimately what I'm gonna do. I was just gonna wait to do it, but then computer went, what?
Bye.
It's waiting, so.
All right.
TTY, I'll have a good
I'm
night.
okay for now. It's just the taskbar is just like
Lock
in my
the
face trying to tell me about the weather, so.
Okay. So that will wrap up Malvhor's Fellowship phase. Who would like to go next?
I was very surprised that it only lasted a day. I think that's the shortest Fellowship phase ever.
I'll go next.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be upfront with you guys. If you want the Fellowship phase to last longer, it's sort of up to you. If you really want it to, but you still will only be taking one undertaking.
Yeah.
Great.
So if you guys all want it to be like 3 days, 5 days, or whatever, however long you want to just basically, fuck around and do nothing.
It feels too early in my rekindling of my relationship with Goldwynn to bring up that question.
Go all the way.
Well, we'll have to, do extensive character development over a multitude of sessions.
Ruthiel. Excuse me. Sorry.
This guy gets it.
Worth every second.
Who would like to go next?
I'll go.
Okay, so I believe the two of you had very similar endeavors.
I was just going to ask
Cirion
that.
and Fig.
Fig, what were you gonna do?
I
I
was going,
don't know, so I can't.
No, I said I was going to try to look into something or research somebody also. So if that aligns with both of us going to the same place, I'm more than happy to do that.
Okay. I'm going to the Hall of Lore if you're coming.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Or I'm gonna let's say I'm gonna start at the Hall of Lore.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Fig will follow.
So the two
Okay.
of you,
We're holding hands and skipping down to the Hall of Lore, everybody. Actually, no. I want to see Fig just like me on her shoulders, me going like that way,
She'll
and
do it.
she's booking hauling ass.
Oh, the moment you say, she'll be like, oh, okay, and just like lift you up and like.
People looking by, what the fuck?
They're like,
the two of you head out from the parlor together with similar sounding goals in mind. You got the lay of the land the other day, and you know there's a scholars. There's a Hall of Lore essentially in town that might keep records based on what you're looking for. So you head over there, and you actually go to the sort of center triangle island out in the middle of the river. You cross a bridge to get over, and you come to a tower. It's not a terribly tall tower. It's not like a citadel by any means, but it does rise above the walls of the city. And at the base level, there is like sort of a iron rod fenced yard around it of the courtyard. But the gate is open, and you walk through, and as you go in, and your eyes sort of adjust inside into the low light. It feels a little cooler in here from the extensive stonework, but you pass a young individual with sort of medium-length brown hair that's sort of like pulled back, wearing loose robes, carrying a stack of scrolls, and sort of stops and looks over the two of you. Oh, hello. What can I do for you?
We're looking for the Hall of Lore.
Well, you need go no further, let me tell you.
I give a little smirk.
My name is Aram. I can assist you in anything that you require. What in particular... Oh, God, where can I put these? 1 minute. Runs off.
I'm just gonna kind of like glance back at Fig and be like,
Comes back as he's like wiping dust, patting dust.
This guy is Milo Thatch pre-Atlantis expedition.
Now I can't get that out of my head.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I love that movie.
So you want access to our Hall of Lore and our Hall of Records? What in particular are you looking into?
Looking more into of the King's Council of Gondor, particularly Rador, if the name rings any bells.
I think it does. I'm not too well versed in current day political structure. I'm more of a history man myself, but we might have something for you to look in. Everything here is mostly copies. The bulk of originals either reside in Minas Tirith or, well, we lost a lot in Minas Ethel, but we do have a lot of...
Cirion kind of like just glances off to the side as soon as it says Minas Ethel, just...
As flashbacks.
Yeah, but everything here is going to be a copy of some other record that we keep elsewhere. We do have a few originals, but those are mostly tied specifically to the city itself. But if you're looking into political, maybe current and historical, I can show you down the hall this way. And what about you, miss?
I am looking for someone named, and I'm gonna look at Cirion and go, I'm not familiar still too much with this language. If you can help pronounce it or spell it for me. Iwindel?
a window? Or is it like a long a window? Or is it a little bit more sing-songy, like a window? Never mind. Okay.
I'm gonna look at Fig and kind of give him like the 1 minute sign and ask her in Sindara and be like, "Who are you looking for?"
But that is his name, but I only caught it once, but he is the one who helped me get the power to help you escape from jail, but...
And I'm assuming, does this kid seem like he knows like what we're talking about?
Not initially, no. But he does look at the two of you and goes like, "Well, if it's a person, or at least a notable person, they're probably going to be in the same section. So they can probably just all go there."
I'm gonna look at Fig and be like, were they an elf? Were they man? Were they dwarf?
I'm going to, is it Western still here?
What do you mean here? Like
the language that's spoken. Yeah, right now.
Yes, it's Western.
So in that language, I'm gonna do what I can to describe what he looked like when I saw him.
All right, so
and like what he was wearing and how he spoke about having. I'm not gonna like drop everything in detail, but describe him and talk and then describe how he seems to be someone of note with and part of something that seems to be looking into things of shadow nature, so to speak.
Okay. Probably a mix. It might be a little bit more historical based on what you're talking about with shadow. But this individual sounds old, so he might be fairly prominent. Just because I don't know him doesn't mean we don't have something about him. So how about we just go down this way and we can go take a look. Just trust me, I know these records like the back of my hand. If you are looking for it, I can find it. As you go down these hallways that are lit with like low-lit sconces, and you pass several rooms that as you look in are just almost like cabinet pantry style shelves that are just stuffed, as we lose Lindsay again, stuffed with parchments. And you see every now and again there's somebody inside one of these rooms with a parchment or a scroll or a tome, and they just have like a candle next to them as they're like reading one part of it and like making notes on another piece of parchment. But you do eventually come to one that is unoccupied, fairly cramped room. And he sort of gestures, "All right, let's get looking." And that's where we're gonna take a break.
Okay.
Okay.
Good call.
I was about to message you and be like, I need to take care of this. Take care of Kevin.
I know. I'm aware.
Not sure what's going on.
I'm aware.
Try to nick over time.
Hail, adventurer. Are you a dungeon master with a desire to transport your players to fantastical settings? Perhaps they are deep in the dungeon of a mad lich.
Fools, you have intervened for the last time. Let's see you survive my fireball.
Or perhaps the party has just come across bandits, and the Goliath monk releases a flurry of blows and a stunning strike to gain control of the conflict. Nice rolls on the attack. Or maybe the party is taking a breather after another difficult quest. If this sounds like something you want at your next ttrpg session, then head over to battlebards.com. By subscribing to BattleBards Prime, you get the ability to immerse your players in your campaign. You'll get complete streaming access to the libraries of both BattleBards and Platemail games. And whether your game is in person or virtual, you won't be limited, as you will have access to a caster and a mixer to be able to broadcast the tracks to all of your players. And of course, if you want to download and keep any tracks, then you get 20% off all in-store purchases. So what are you waiting for, adventurer? A quest posting at the local guild hall? Get over to battlebards.com and subscribe today, and use the coupon code ADVENTURE at checkout. Stay proficient, adventurers. Hail, adventurer. Are you a dungeon master with a desire to transport your players to fantastical settings? Perhaps they are deep in the dungeon of a mad lich.
Fools, you have intervened for the last time. Let's see you survive my fireball.
Or perhaps the party has just come across bandits, and the Goliath monk releases a flurry of blows and a stunning strike to gain control of the conflict. Nice rolls on the attack. Or maybe the party is taking a breather after another difficult quest. If this sounds like something you want at your next ttrpg session, then head over to battlebards.com. By subscribing to BattleBards Prime, you get the ability to immerse your players in your campaign. You'll get complete streaming access to the libraries of both BattleBards and Platemail games. And whether your game is in person or virtual, you won't be limited, as you will have access to a caster and a mixer to be able to broadcast the tracks to all of your players. And of course, if you want to download and keep any tracks, then you get 20% off all in-store purchases. So what are you waiting for, adventurer? A quest posting at the local guild hall? Get over to battlebards.com and subscribe today, and use the coupon code ADVENTURE at checkout. Stay proficient, adventurers. Hail, adventurer! Are you a dungeon master with a desire to transport your players to fantastical settings? Perhaps they are deep in the dungeon of a mad lich.
Fools, you have intervened for the last time. Let's see you survive my fireball.
Or perhaps the party has just come across bandits, and the Goliath monk releases a flurry of blows and a stunning strike to gain control of the conflict. Nice rolls on the attack. Or maybe the party is taking a breather after another difficult quest. If this sounds like something you want at your next ttrpg session, then head over to battlebards.com. By subscribing to BattleBards Prime, you get the ability to immerse your players in your campaign. You'll get complete streaming access to the libraries of both BattleBards and Platemail games. And whether your game is
Shit.
Well, as soon as we go live, it's just Lindsay. Shit. Not Mike again.
I just hear clanging. I hear clanging from the running metals, and then just shit.
Maybe we should just call it a night.
I thought I was far away enough from the mic.
No.
Oh
Need
my
to be a
gosh.
little more red, Linz. A little more red.
Alright. So,
Oh my gosh,
Getting-
not a good
getting
tech
back-
day for me.
getting back into it, Cirion and Vig, you both went to the essentially the Scholars Guild in Pelargir, and have been accompanied by a attendant of the Hall of Lore, by a scholar by the name of Aram, who has heard your requests and sort of led you down to one of the halls that bear potentially what you're looking for. The two of you sort of stand outside of the doorway, archway, and you see maybe 6 feet in width this room that's lined with just parchments on the shelves going all the way down that extends maybe about 40 to 50 feet. He looks at the two of you. All right, let's get looking. And the three of you go inside and start pouring through scrolls and looking for the information that you're potentially looking for. Cirion, specifically, you're looking into Rador specifically,
Yes.
and you're looking for like his history, his career, or current dealings, or anything like that.
Kind of like all the above. I want to see like more so not even so much his history, his what he wants. I don't want to say like his term, but like the start of his career. How long did it take him to get to his current position, kind of thing, and current dealings, like what has he dabbled into, this or that.
Okay.
Like why do we find him that night?
Go ahead and give me a history check at advantage. Vig, you're looking into Alawindel.
Fishing in history, come on.
Figure that you met out in the woods of Athelion. What specifically are you looking for? Their history, where they might have come from, who they work for, those sorts of things?
I will say, I mean, in a general sense, Fig will kind of take anything that, because in her mind that's more info that she doesn't know right now, and that would be a lead. But if I had to pick, I think more of the who he is acquainted with, if possible. So like who
Okay.
he works for and whatnot. Especially because he kept mentioning, my friends and everything. So she's the purpose is to try to figure out who are these people.
Who are you
Okay.
people?
Yeah.
Okay, for the purposes of where you are currently and what's at your disposal, I'll leave it up to you, but you can make a history or a lore check at advantage.
Come here, buddy. Say hi to the people.
Well, they're both the same. You said at advantage?
Yes, that the
Okay.
undertaking gives you advantage.
I guess I'll try this 3. She's gonna like. Okay.
IMAX.
Damn it. I'm gonna use my inspiration.
Okay.
Oof.
Why not? Oh no, wait.
You can re-roll it once, so just roll one more time,
Okay, so I'll move
and
that
hopefully
to normal.
it's better.
Oh!
3 natural 20s, people!
Natural 20 for a total of 20. All right.
I
Jesus
have
Christ,
not
that was good.
Counting them. It was
So
good.
the two of you convey to Aram what you're looking for, and he sort of just releases you to the wilds. Basically, start looking through things. I'll help, and he also begins to look through. And every now and again, he pulls a tome or a parchment and brings it over to you, Cirion. He's seeming to find a lot more pertaining to at least the realm of study. Maybe not specifically to who you're looking for, but at least might get you in the ballpark. He maybe finds like one piece of parchment that's not even like a full scroll or a tome. Fig, he gets one piece of paper. He's like,
I figured.
this is about all I can gather. There's not really a whole lot on this guy.
Thank you. I'm gonna take it and read it. Every once in a while, as I'm reading it, I'm gonna like look over to Cirion and go like, "What's that word?"
Ah,
T to hay. Duh.
Some of the words she's gonna be like, "Oh, help!"
So, two of you spend some time looking through it. Fig, you're not getting a whole lot out of this. There's not a whole lot of information here that you can gather. It's kind of frustrating. It's really... This is these people's source of knowledge, and what you're looking for, what you're seeking, they don't seem to have any.
Cirion, after a while, you'll hear like a few little grumbles and murmurs of like, I guess some minor frustration with like really furrowed brows and whatnot. And then at one point, I'm just gonna stand up from my chair and return the paper to Aram.
Did you get what you were looking for?
Did I get anything, or just like vague?
Not a whole lot, really. There's no record here that even gives a hint of what you're looking for.
Did the spelling of the name seem remotely close to like what I heard when he introduced himself? Because not like I know how to spell it.
No.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna stand up then and look at Cirion after handing the paper back to Aram. I don't think here will help much for me.
Sorry you couldn't find anything. Figured this would be the one place.
It's, all right. I have weird questions that need answers, so I will go elsewhere, I think.
Yeah. Be safe then. Be careful out there.
Oh,
I know you will be.
where I am going, it's always the safest I've ever felt.
I'll say
What?
Cirion's just gonna like look back at his book or his parchment, whatever he's looking through, like, well, he could turn into a fucking bear, so what am I to tell you to be safe? I should tell the bad guys to be safe.
She can what?
Not
Inside
really.
joke. You see the furs on her? We just joke.
This is a wolf, not a bear.
I thought it was a bear when we first met, and now we're here. You know.
No. This, and I point to the wolf face. What's it called?
Okay.
Pauldron. This is a wolf. I'll hold up the necklace. These are bear teeth.
I'm gonna index this. I'll be back. He walks off, a little perturbed.
I will meet back at the parlor when I'm done.
Yeah, see you back there. Hopefully wherever you go, you can pull up more information than you did here, unfortunately.
We'll see. Good luck.
You as well.
I'm gonna head out.
Alright, Fig leaves the Hall of Lore. Cirion, with the stacks of scrolls and tomes that you have in front of you, you start pouring through, looking for what answers you seek. You may go ahead and ask your first question.
Do I have, now, before I ask, and feel free to answer, do I have a limit on questions? Yes, I do. 3? Okay. I just want to make sure, be like, which ones do I want to know the most before I ask the stupid ones?
Yeah,
okay.
You have 3 questions. Depending on if your check was successful or not, you'll either get full answers that are correct, or you might get cryptic answers or wrong answers. So take everything that you hear with a grain of salt, but your questions will be answered.
Hey. Okay. So my first question is, what are some current dealings that Rador is involved with?
You find the most recent dealings that are at least known public that have been documented at the behest of the king in the current ongoings of Osgiliath. You see that his main reasoning to be there wasn't by decree of the king, it was more of his own fruition. Most of the royal court, or that even have semblance of ties to the king or the royal family or Minas Tirith, have more official duties. His seem to be more research-based and more self-funded for the most part, for the good of the kingdom. And his most recent endeavor was to return to Osgiliath and research the ruins of the Dome of Stars in search for the lost Palantir.
Sorry, I'm writing that down.
During Kinstrife, when Osgiliath was sacked, the Dome of Stars fell into the Anduin, and at the top of the dome housed one of the Palantirs that the Numenorians brought over. And that one has been lost since Kinstrife.
Okay, because I was going to be, and you can let me know if this would count as my next question. Was the Dome of Stars where we went, or that cave we went to when we found him originally?
No. The Dome of Stars is in Osgiliath. It sits in the Anduin, the river.
Okay.
You passed it several times crossing the bridge. It's just in ruins.
Okay.
That was like the second time you interacted with him when he was conscious. You found him sort of sitting on the bridge, writing in a journal, looking out towards the ruins.
Okay. Okay, so that helped a little bit. Okay, my next question is, how long has he been in service to the realm of Gondor?
His official record that you can find appears to be for a few decades now. He's probably been working in an official capacity, like holding station or holding office of some sort, for the better part of probably 20 years.
Okay. And then, so that's 2 questions. My third question... Crap, there are 2 that I really want to ask. Shit.
anything you don't ask, you may end up finding through natural story development, or you can table it for the potential next fellowship phase.
Okay.
But you don't know when that would be.
My next question is, what interest did he have in that mine that we investigated?
Okay. This one doesn't seem to be too well documented. You end up having to pore over a few different records, knowing that these are copies and the bulk of his work was running out of Osgiliath. It's unlikely Pelargir was going to keep a detailed record of his current dealings within the past few months. But there does seem to be some correspondence that mostly appear to be ledger work. And the cave in particular was a bit of a quarry, a mine, that was being sourced for officially reconstruction efforts and resources for Osgiliath.
Can I ask a sub-question of the same one I just asked?
Maybe. What is it?
No, so this is, does it list a beneficiary for this job? Does it list like a name? Was what I'm asking was this self-sponsored by Rador, since you kind of mentioned that a little bit ago? Or did someone else ask him to do this specific job? When you're saying like the ledger and everything else that came up, does it mention a name that told him like, hey, go investigate this cave? Or like you mentioned earlier, a self-funded project? Was this like approved by him? Be like, hey, let's go.
It mostly appears to be self-funded and approved by him, like based on your earlier research into him specifically. Most of his work isn't usually backed by the crown. It's not unheard of. It's actually fairly common in Gondor to have these sorts of quarries and mines to source the white stone that makes up most of their cities. And with Osgiliath being in its current state, it seems like a pet project of his of some sort to perform construction and at least maybe rebuild the city. But the ledgers look to be mostly hiring individuals to work the mines, source the materials, and return it to Osgiliath.
Okay. I feel like asking any other question is going to be like we're teetering on a fourth question. So, yeah. So, like this, like I said, this sub question kind of helped a little bit. Okay. Because that was, now I'm kind of wishing I asked my fourth question a little bit more, but hindsight being what it is.
Yeah. And it's the nature of where you are and what information they have available.
Yeah. Okay. I'll close up all the books, organize all the parchments, and I'll let what's his name again? Aram,
sir.
Yeah. I'll look at
Arem. Aram.
Yeah. So I'll go to him. It's like I'll kind of like pat him on the shoulder and be like, thanks, kid. This was a lot of help.
Glad to be of service. You got everything you needed?
I think so. I think I got a good start.
Excellent. Well, if you ever have anything else you want to look into, then feel free to swing on by.
Will do. And I'm going to make my way, actually. And let me know, would this be like a separate under-ish taking? I'm going to go to a tavern.
If you're just going there to drink? Nah.
I want to drink.
Unless you have a goal. Oh, I'm curious what your goal is.
I want to hear if there's any, like, if the bartender has heard any talk about Rador. Would that be considered another undertaking? Because if not, I'm going just for a drink.
No, that wouldn't be an undertaking. Because you can do that beyond just anything else. You can do that whenever. Give me two things. Go ahead and just
Sure.
give me a general persuasion check.
Okay.
And then since you're in a, are you going to the pier specifically?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a perception check as well, just to see if what you might hear or pick up. Have your ears out for it.
There we go.
16. You come in, you sit down, and you try to get Rodella's attention, and she initially stops and takes your drink order. And as soon as you start like asking her questions, she's like, "I have customers," and she just seems to be pulling away, busy, doesn't really seem to be interested in idle chit chat. But you do hear a conversation over the noise at a nearby table of two individuals that you just sort of eavesdrop on. And the one
You're dropping no eaves, sir.
they're just sort of sitting there and like leaning over their drinks, just sort of casually talking. Market's been a bit light lately. Yeah, I suppose it has. Less traffic coming in from the West Garth. Yeah. Did you hear there might be a reason for that? No, what am I? Less traffic on the roads. The usual merchants aren't coming in from the north. What do you mean they're not coming in? They always come in. They're on a routine schedule. There's rumors that there's folk along the roads disappearing. Getting snatched up. What the bloody hell are you talking about? Getting snatched up off the roads? It's what I hear. Just gone without a trace. Bloody witchcraft, if you ask me. Bloody witchcraft? There's no witches in there. How much have you had to drink? Not quite enough, honestly. Well, you know what I heard? What? I heard there was a bit of a ruckus in Osgiliath a few weeks ago.
Oh.
Ruckus? Maybe that has more to do with the light travel on the roads. Maybe. Heard a couple of folk broke out of some prison. Had the whole guard in an uproar. Oh God, you say? This is the first I'm hearing about it. I feel like that would travel. Ah. They're really trying to keep it quiet. Citadel guard at Minas Tirith hasn't even been told. How'd you come by this? Ranger made his way into town last night. Looking for him. Don't say. Did he happen to say anything about a bounty on these folk? He alluded to it. Didn't say anything about the price. Well, what are we going to do, right? I don't even have a dagger. No, you don't. But I'll tell you who might be interested in claiming that bounty. And if we pass the information along, maybe they will be willing to split it. Who? Oh, you know. The Hellion? No, I'm not getting wrapped up in her stuff again. Now the Hellion will split the money perfectly. If she claims the bounty, we move along none the wiser. Let me think about it, alright? Let's get more information about it first. Keep my eyes out, though, that's for damn sure.
Uh-oh.
Oh God.
The plot thickens.
So as soon as I hear that, I'm gonna try and get Rodella's attention again.
Okay.
And I'm gonna order another drink, but I'm gonna stop her. I want to catch her.
Can I help you?
Rodella,
Aye?
I'm gonna go like this, be like,
She just sort of places her arm on the bar and leans in. Aye?
what can you tell me about, and don't act surprised, what can you tell me about the Hellion?
Who's asking?
Something I overheard. And I was curious.
Never seen him myself.
Him.
Them. Never seen them myself.
Oh, okay.
Dialects bury things. An assassin. Sword for hire. Bounty hunter. I've heard the whole lot.
Oh no.
Oh, yeah.
Whole lot. So they're part of a group.
No. Heard she works alone. But I know nothing more beyond that. I have no dealings with her.
Have you seen another ranger come through here at all?
Not the ranger. There's rangers all over this place. Some of the Athelians come down all the way down to here on routine searches, patrols. There's one that wanders in every now and again.
Anyone new?
Not that I've seen.
Interesting.
Looking for someone.
No, just call it a pique and curiosity. Never really been here for a couple days. Didn't really hear or see any names that spiked fear into people. Overhearing some conversations.
Well, the Hellion hasn't been in this city for several years. And I haven't heard their return.
Any word of where they went?
No, and I have quite the feeling they wanted it that way.
Dropped off face of the earth. Yet people are still talking about them. Interesting. Thank you, Rodella. And I'm gonna slip her a gold piece and give her a wink as go. Keep up the good work, lass. And just wink at her.
She returns the wink. Thank you for your patronage. Alright, who's got the next order? She walks off.
And I'm gonna finish my drink, just kind of like still keeping an ear out for any potential conversations, and wrap up my drink and kind of like just pick myself up. And just for a laugh, I'm gonna put a silver piece on the bar and look at Rodella and like, those two gentlemen over there, their drink on me.
Okay.
And I'll make my way out.
Alright. Fig. You leave the Hall of Lore and make your way out the city, back over through the West Garth and out into outside of the walls, and head a little bit further past the main sort of farmlands and homesteads, and actually veer off a little northeast towards the banks of the Anduin. Get a decent distance out. You can still see the city, but far enough where it's a bit quiet. You sort of wade into the riverbank and let the water sort of wash over you. So with the history check that you made earlier, we're gonna keep that because that's really shitty if I were to take that away.
Fair.
That is the nature of the research lore checks. So you're gonna keep that. But for the sake of things, how do you go about sort of seeking these answers now?
I'll be by the riverbank you described. I'm going to get a little comfortable. I'm gonna take off shield and axe and place it to my side. Probably shrug off the pauldron just to like you said, loosen a little. And I'm going to sit cross-legged by the bank, and
Okay.
I'm going to meditate for a little bit and listen to just kind of immerse myself with the sounds of nature and everything, and kind of calm from my minor frustration. But in my head, I should have known that trying to read books never worked in the first place for me. And I'm going to remember the last part of the tune of the music I've heard play, and I'm going to hum it out loud and see what happens.
You hum the tune to the best of your ability, best of your memory. Listen to the nature and the rush of the river current. You just feel yourself ever so slightly sinking in to the silt and the mud beneath the river with each little passing current that rushes over your feet. Just close your eyes and you focus on that. What's your first question?
As I'm humming, I am imagining this Iwindel character, trying to visually remember specifically all of his distinct features and whatnot, his voice. And in my head, the question is, past the name, who is this guy? What exactly is he?
Okay. You sit there sort of in a meditative state, as you've been sort of known to do. And you focus on the image of Awendel, your mysterious benefactor, patron of sorts,
Yeah.
teacher in some aspects. And you try to imagine who he is and what his dealings might be of sorts. And you are brought to a vision that looks to be a shoreline with an infinitely endless horizon out into the water. And you are visualizing this, and you can hear the calls of the gulls and the waves crashing upon the shore. And in a moment, you hear something like a noise of like something getting pushed and pushing away the sand, the wet sand, as something gets pushed up onto shore. And you look over and you see a grayish white boat that arrives on shore, and you see several individuals within this boat as the sail is brought in and sort of reined in, and what oars are there are pulled back into the boat. And you see a decent host of individuals, 10 or so, that make their way out of the boat and onto the sand. And just looking, you do see elves, mostly, among these individuals, but 5 of which stand out of this group that don't appear to be like any of the elves or any of the other individuals that you've seen. They seem more to resemble more human of sorts. You gather... And I'm sorry, I lost my train. What was the original question?
Dude.
What was that?
Who is this dude?
Who is... Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Got lost in
Narrative
narration.
exposition
Yes,
Yeah.
I love it.
loses original point.
Yep.
There,
Do that all
there
the
I
time.
go again, just spouting exposition. Among these 10 individuals, you see 5 that don't appear to be elven. And initially, you see one cloaked in sort of like deep grays, holding a staff. And another in almost creamy white, bearing a blackened staff. 2 individuals dressed similar to one another in sort of royal to navy blues with some leathers, holding various art of carved staves. And then you see the one that you are familiar with, Awendel, in a sort of like a muddied green-brown that you've seen before, and a staff that seems to bear the resemblance of almost a tree, a carved tree trunk or large branch. You gather that Alwindel is a Maiar, a wizard from Valinor.
A what? A Maiar?
Maiar.
Maiar.
That's what Gandalf is, essentially.
Spell that? I've never
M.A..
heard that word before.
We're learning lore, people!
Yeah, no, like, I mean, I had my suspicions, but, like, that word caught me off guard. M.A.
M-A-I-A-R.
Oh. And you said wizard. Cool. I don't know if this counts as my other question. Probably not. Have I heard of them? Do I know of these wizards?
That's not count as one of your questions. Go ahead and give me a lore check or a history check. Your choice.
They're both the same. Let's
Get another natural
see.
20. You've been getting them
see
all
if my
night.
Taught me well.
Ah!
Holy
Did she really just get another freaking 20?
Yes!
shit!
That's 1, 2.
Why
so
can't
that's
you do this
4.
when this matters?
Four!
Why can't you do this when this matters?
To make up for my technical difficulties.
This is the
Oddly
opposite
enough-
of Brian's luck.
Oddly enough, you have heard odd stories through travels of wizards, and you've probably heard more of Maiar actually from being in the elves' houses for a while.
Okay.
You've heard on numerous occasions whispers of an individual that seems to be fairly old in time itself, but has only arrived in Middle Earth within recent history.
Okay.
In the elves of the Greenwood have often referred to him as Mithrandir.
Okay. Okay.
What's your next question?
Well, that's actually a good question, because now that I know that little bit, I feel like asking who he's acquainted with as prep of my second question is now kind of moot. I would. I want to see, now this is getting hard because of all the player knowledge I have.
Knowledge of what?
Of like what the wizards are doing and whatnot, and
Okay.
and because I don't know how general of knowledge that actually is or whatnot.
So the wizards themselves have only arrived in Middle Earth within the last like 2,000 years.
So I just know of like who they are, not necessarily why they're here.
You don't. That's not commonly known of why they might be here.
Okay, then
A lot, like the vast majority of Middle Earth, would they be lucky if they cross paths with them and they don't even really know? The important people have probably had dealings with them already and might have some semblance of an idea of why they're here.
Okay, so then my next question, I'm not quite sure how to phrase it, but my visualization from that vision is going to move toward imagining that voice was also a light source visually, right? Or no, am I making that
Yeah,
up?
it appeared there was a bit of a well. You can infer that. It also could have just literally been God rays coming through the
Okay.
canopy.
So I'm
if Fig took that as the light talking to her, that's up to you.
fair enough.
But it's not like there was a ball of light energy hovering in front of you that you were speaking to.
Right. I'm going to take his image and while still kind of remembering what he looked like and whatnot, I'm going to hear a lot of like the lines that he said, and also like a lot of the lines that the voice said, and they're kind of intermingling in my head, and I'm trying to figure out now their connection. How is he connected to this voice, and who's the voice and stuff too? So kind of now more priority on seeing if I can see what this voice is all about.
So what's the question?
A matter of who or what is this voice?
Who is the voice?
I
need a question.
Sorry, I know. Yes. Who's this voice?
Okay.
That's such a vague question.
It is, and you're gonna get a vague answer.
Actually, well, yeah. You know what? Yeah, whatever. She's got a process of elimination it.
Okay. You shift your focus from Awendel, and your vision comes away from the shores, and you're brought to a few different places that sort of rush past you in your mind's eye, that give you imagery and sensations of trying to grasp at who this voice might be. And the first one you see is almost an impossibly endless rolling field of golden wheat and various flowers. With it, you just see it shifting in the wind. And then the next one, you are placed into a forest, or maybe it's smaller than that. Maybe it's an orchard, as you are walking past lined trees, and you see fruits sort of growing before your eyes, and a hand reaching up and picking them. And then you're taken away, and you're brought to a similar site than where you just were outside of Pelargir, farms where individuals are taking their crops and harvesting them and prepping for meals and for tending the land. You get a couple of different things that sort of pop in your head, and for the sake of it, I'm going to give you 3 names.
Oh, okay.
Giver of fruits.
Okay.
Protector of plants.
Okay.
And
Just 2 is fine.
the ordainer, if that's a word, to ordain the harvests.
Harvest?
Harvests, yes.
Okay. Oh boy. Okay.
What's your third question?
I want to know how... This is actually completely going off the rails of what I had originally written. I want to know how all of that is, how they have been connected to my parents and I, apparently.
The real parents?
The
yes. The original?
Yes. Complicated history.
Yeah, the parents you know. Okay. They are... So you see you see the vision of your parents, and then time sort of flashes by where you just slowly see them to sort of like fade from existence before you. That brings you to the point of that you're familiar with as they're passing, and you see sort of the world sort of like shudder and shimmer a bit in transition, and you see their forms in almost of an ethereal sort of manifestation, where they appear to be walking similar forests and guarding. They seem to be almost guardians of the forest in some sort of spiritual nature. And maybe that ability, or maybe that was granted or ordained or allowed by one of them.
Oh, that all just clicked in my head. Okay. Took a second time of hearing you say that. Okay. Whoa.
Out of character knowledge, finally figure out who this is.
Not specifically who, but
you do gather you do gather through this meditation and this sort of mental journey that to potentially move forward or know more, you now have a question for yourself to answer, and that is, what is their true name?
The voice?
Yes.
Okay.
You have like aliases, and you have a individual that is connected to them in some semblance of that. So in order to potentially, there's just something about it that just feels like where you're supposed to go next is find that.
Yeah.
And it might not be easy, and it might not be quick.
Yeah. I had thought of asking that the first round, and I was like, yeah, right.
You would have gotten the same 3 names I gave you already.
Right. Okay, so with that ending, and especially with the visualization of them kind of there, my parents, more narratively speaking, I want to kind of feel or sense like if they might be around like they kind of were before, or like how it was mentioned they were around before.
Give me a wisdom check.
Oh no. Wisdom check. No, that's a wisdom saving throw. Don't do that. Oh, I was hoping for another 20.
Selfish.
I know.
You don't feel a strong presence, and that might be location. You are still pretty close to civilization. You're not exactly fully out in wilderness. If you understand your vision journey as they're guardians of the forest, of the wild, then maybe you're just not where you need to be.
Okay. I'm gonna take that, and I'm going to take my time to kind of come back and center myself before opening my eyes. But I'm gonna have memories of them in my head, kind of fresh and swimming after all of that. I'm going to grip my necklace, use my arm to wipe my face for a little bit. I'm going to bow toward the river, say thank you out loud as a whole, and then I'm going to get up and head back to Pelargir.
Okay.
And if there is still time in the day, this doesn't have to be big narrative, I would then go to, if there's still time in the day, I would then head to the Hunters Guild and see if I can do a quick scouting or two to get monies.
Okay.
But that's up to you if there's time.
We'll handle that later.
Okay. That's
Locke! it's time for your first fellowship phase undertaking. Yay!
Yay!
Oh my god, that was like
Harmonized.
hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Drop the balloons. All right,
you didn't get the memo?
Locke. So in the first day that you guys are in Pelargir, you went off on your own to just sort of get a feel of the city yourself. One of the main things you looked for was the smithing guild, essentially, because that's who Locke is. He needs a place. He wanted it in Osgiliath, and it just wasn't. The city, it wasn't ready for it. It didn't have the infrastructure, and the city guard wasn't exactly fully open to just letting you use theirs. So you did meet with the smithing guild, and there was a guild member there who was willing to take on an apprentice, which is a beneath your station, but you did see that there was only one real way in this city to at least start, and that was trying to get into the guild. So you did accept tentatively an apprenticeship under Manik, Manik, who is a dwarf. And the reason they needed an apprentice was because they had a lot of work piled up that they couldn't do. Because they recently, in a horrific forge accident, got sprayed with hot coals and are actually blind. So you saw it as an opportunity to be like, I might be able to work with this. So there's an elf and a dwarf, both smiths. The sitcom writes itself.
Love it.
So, what would you like to do for your undertaking?
Well, two things I would like to do. One, to figure out more about this blade
Okay.
that I took. And two is kind of take the opportunity to burn through all this work and take my own work to the next level, so to speak.
Gotcha. So, you've done earlier in the day, because you even narratively brought it up, you've been sort of working away and polishing at the sword over time to get it cleaned, and maybe back to working order. So that won't be terribly hard to do. The actual undertaking will be training to like work on your skills, go through this work, and try and hone your craft a little bit. So as you sort of pile up metal ingots and begin smelting down and going through pretty much a whole day's work of just making the most mundane, uninspiring swords for the guard here within Pelargir. It almost drains you to a point, but it is every now and again you sort of work in a little elvish flair, a little elven craft, that you sort of go back to your old notebook of being trained back in Malvhor, and even further than that. So you are able to go to your next tier as an artificer. Now, the blade you have been working on, as you use your what is it? Which ability is it? Evaluate treasure. Yes. You take a moment and sort of like the sun is setting and the forge is cooling. You just take a moment. You take the sword out and you give it some polish. You look it over. You do notice that there's no crossguard hilt. It is almost like a curved blade of sorts. Still chipped in places, so it's not exactly in working order fully, but for the most part it looks back to what it probably used to be when it was. But right where the blade meets the handle, there is on both sides appears to be a golden inset of an emblem, and it looks to be like a starburst at first. No, that can't be right. It looks to almost resemble a flower that's inset in gold. Go ahead and give me a lore check at advantage.
At advantage, okay. Second here. Advantage. And here we go.
22.
I'll take that. 22.
After a few moments of actually stopping to look at this, and you polish it up and you look on both sides, the symbol sort of clicks in the back of your head, and as you grip the sword a little bit, you almost feel a warmth around the handle on your hand. It begins to spread, and after a moment, it starts to feel almost like hot metal. It eventually subsides, but as it does, and you sort of like clench from the pain, your vision goes a little bit white, and you're transported to, in your mind, almost like a vision of sorts, where you see a large group of armed elves rushing through a city as they're marching from one side to the other, and some sort of round the corner and stop, and you look down this large roadway, and a closed gate bursts open with flames flicking through it, and your vision shakes, and you turn around and you see this sword, a sword very similar to the one you're holding, in the grip of one of these elven soldiers. And then as they get pushed to the side, there's another taller, long blonde hair, slicked back elf, also with a maroon sort of cloak wrapped around the armor, moving forward, and on the chest piece with the same symbol, you recognize not only the individual, but the symbol for sure is of the House of the Golden Flower, who the head is Glorfindel.
Nice.
Your vision comes out from this as you're brought back to the forge you're sitting in. As I realize now that I never flicked on the forge ambience because I suck. You are brought back, and the heat subsides, and you hold the sword out, sort of do a few swings with it. And you know now for a fact that there is something within this. There's an enchantment on the sword that I will now reveal to you. Oh, wait, no, you already have that. That's the GM stuff. There appears to be a warding spell, or a warding enchantment on the blade. So if you go back to your handout, you'll actually see that spell now, or the enchantment itself. What you choose to do with that is up to Locke.
Okay. Well, definitely going to be working on bringing this back to working order as time goes on.
So you're gonna restore the blade as opposed to learn the enchantment?
No, I want to learn. Uh-oh, I lost headphones. Cat?
I don't know what the fuck that was. I thought I heard something.
The noise?
It was a
That's
ghost.
The audio.
Too immersive.
There's a ghost.
Oh, yeah, no, that's the audio. I almost freaked out too.
Yeah.
No,
just to be clear, the blade itself in the vision was not handled by Glorfindel. It was another soldier.
Right.
But it just belongs to the house.
Right. No, I think this is one I'd like to extract and learn to be able to replicate.
Okay. So we'll say you take the better part of the rest of your overtime hours in the forge to use. I believe you have this ability now. I don't think that comes later because we tweaked it from the original.
Yeah, because the original was kind of hot garbo.
Yeah, it didn't make you feel. Here we go. I think I found it. I looked all this up earlier today, and then it left my brain.
Of course, it happens.
Yeah, so you take the rest of your evening and sort of work with the blade and observe the Quenya runes that are inset into the hilt and the blade itself that actually use the elven magic to generate the enchantment. In order to do so, you begin chipping away at the blade and at the hilt and making notes in your forge book and everything. The blade, by the end of it, is unfortunately destroyed, but you can enchant weapons and weapons and potentially armor, depending on its guidelines, with that enchantment.
Oh, is it artificial?
As an artificer of Airgion.
That was fun with Anelia.
So, you are now at tier 2 as an artificer, so those abilities now can come in, and you have a new enchantment that you can have at your disposal.
I like it.
We'll say, for the sake of doing that work, that you got a 2 silver out as a cut for doing the work.
Good. Can't all be money bags like the gamblers, but close to a gold.
Yeah.
More than me.
Is there anything you wish to do with your day, with your evening?
Honestly, first day back in the forge, and God knows how long, I'm probably going right back, and I will be found passed out by Vig. Elves don't do traditional sleep, but today I do. There is no outside awareness. There is.
Fig will just when I get back, Fig will just like make sure the cover is on you, and then make sure she's got the pillow for the floor, and call for like 2 cats.
Some of them trot in. Yeah. Is there anything anyone wishes to do outside of their undertaking before the night concludes?
I mentioned potentially hunting for monies with the guild. If I had time after doing my thing in the forest.
Would you be interested in joining the guild?
No. I just
they
wanted
won't
to
take you
offer my services.
Yeah,
I'll-
they won't take you along.
I will tell them I will consider it. But I am bad.
Oddly enough, you go up to the Hunters Guild, and you go up to the front sort of proprietor or secretary, if you will, and you say, like, I would like to hunt with you, and you get responded with, are you a guild member?
Fuck this lady. No.
Not
Shirley screwed me once as Anelia.
Not good. Not good.
Why is she here?
But it's a liability thing. They won't take you out if you're not one of them.
I will grumble and just go back to the parlor.
So you all return at the end of a long day for some of you to the parlor, to your rooms, either cat occupied or not. Dorsey greets you, offers you some tea as you missed the tea time earlier in the day. But you guys either accept it or you don't, and eventually you return to your chambers and let the sweet embrace of the evening take you for the next morning. We'll see where that takes you. That's where we're going to end tonight.
I was like, something bad gonna happen? Is something bad gonna happen?
I don't
A
know.
cat
Maybe the
scratches your
Hellions
face.
after you. Maybe the Hellions after you, or maybe it's witchcraft.
Oh no, that whole conversation though.
I think that
You
was
know
like,
what's even better about that is what I just initially heard you say is the Italians are after you, and I'm like, I mean, appropriate, but not really lore accurate.
Hey,
Suddenly,
tell that fellowship they're sleeping with the fishes.
suddenly, a whole bunch of squirrels end up outside of
Oh
the
my
parlor,
god.
kicking in the door like, hey! The Don Acorn sends his regards.
Cats immediately pounce on squirrels.
It's just a turf war
yeah,
between
it's a
the
turf
cats
war,
and the
exactly.
Syrian's just like looking out the window with tea in the morning going, the fuck is going on in this
Oh
room?"
my god.
Can we please do a one-shot now with that for Christmas, please? Please, for love of God.
One shot? You want a Christmas Critters one shot? Is that what you're
Yes,
telling me?
I do.
Yes.
Yes, I will wear a
God.
tux. You know what? I will wear
We
a
will-
tux.
we
I will
will
do a
s-
fedora. I will do brandy. I will do cigars. Like, I'm going the full fucking mobster approach.
Look, I just want to take this moment to remind everyone that the current champions of Super Brawl are the Mirkwood Mafia Squirrels. So,
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
but that's all from us tonight. We'll be back next Tuesday, and
Oh wow.
check out our scheduling, join Discord. We're doing stuff. That's fun. Stay proficient, everybody. Good night.
Good night.